So this is The Crime Happens Here, and today we're going to be talking about Josh Duggar. So when I was in high school, we really liked watching TLC, and 19 Kids and Counting was part of the network. But we always thought something kind of suspicious was happening. They always wanted us to believe that they were the perfect family, but it was quite evident that they were hiding something. Well, they were hiding a pedophile. So Josh Duggar is a sex offender serving a sentence due to having child pornographic images on his computer, on his work computer. He is the eldest son of Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar, who were the stars of 19 Kids and Counting. They were the matriarch and patriarch. So Josh was born into a very Christian household with intense religious views. His family are independent Baptist Christians and are members of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, which is a homeschooling program run by an extreme Christian minister. The kids have really strict rules about television, movies, radio, and the girls are always supposed to be in dresses or in skirts, and public education was a big no-no. The family was just extremely worried about the kids being tainted by the world around them. The kids had a lot of chores to do, and the girls were all in charge of taking care of the younger children. So sexual purity is a huge focal point in most religions, most Christian churches, especially theirs. Their Christian views meant that they had to be completely pure. And abstaining from sex before marriage is demanded, and Jim Bob would help his children avoid any type of temptation by making them have very strict rules about dating, including supervised dates. All the children had to have a sibling or a parent present on their dates, and they even had rules about how their children would hug their partner. Their hugs always had to be from the side. People had to ask Jim Bob for his permission in order to date his daughters. It's definitely a patriarch where Jim Bob makes the rules, has to sign off on everything, and is expected to keep his family in line. Unfortunately, we learned much later in the show's success that the family wasn't what they were trying to portray. Behind the scenes, they were covering up a crime. They had traumatized children who were not offered proper help, and a teenage boy who never fully had to pay for his actions. So in 2003, when Josh was 15 years old, Jim Bob and Michelle found out that Josh had molested his sisters. They found him leaving one of their rooms, and he was questioned, and he admitted to molesting 5 underage girls, including his sisters. He shared that this abuse had been going on for about a year. He would touch them inappropriately while they slept and while they were awake. 4 of the victims were Duggar's siblings, and he had reached under the dress of a younger sister who was in his lap, cornered a sister in the laundry room to reach under her clothing, and touched a much younger sister who, according to him, didn't understand she had been improperly touched. The 5th victim was a babysitter. So when Jim Bob found this all out, he didn't go to the police, and he wanted to handle it on his own. So he sent Josh away to a camp in Little Rock run by Institute in Basic Life Principles, and this is what their church elders had suggested. The counseling that he received wasn't even counseling. It was physical labor. Maybe if he just worked hard enough, he would be cured, healed. No. The kid needed some serious counseling. And when Josh returned home, Jim Bob did involve Jim Hutchins, who happened to be a state trooper and a family friend. But instead of Hutchins turning Josh into the police, he just gave him a stern talking to. In 2006, the family was supposed to make an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, but an anonymous source contacted the show to inform them about the abuse. So this completely spooked the family. So Jim Bob wanted to beat the news, and he turned Josh into the Arkansas State Police. However, at this point it had been 3 years, so the statute of limitation had been met. So he was not allowed to be charged, which was quite unfortunate, not only because he never actually received any help for his addiction, but then also his victims never saw any justice. And I feel like Jim Bob knew that his son wasn't actually going to be charged, and that's why he was okay with sending him to the police. The public didn't figure out about the abuse until 2015. Out of public outlash, TLC decided to cancel 19 Kids Accounting because they knew they couldn't just have a child molester on their wholesome network. However, the show rebranded as Counting On and was aired later in 2015, which mainly focused on the older children and their spouses. Josh Duggar started showing signs of having issues with sex and nobody did anything, so unsurprisingly, he had issues as an adult as well. Shortly after all the allegations surfaced about the abuse, there was a breach in Ashley Madison. Ashley Madison is a website where men can have communications with other women, and Josh, a married man with children, was having an affair on his wife. He would also pay these women to have sex with him in hotel rooms. His credit card was used to pay for nearly $1,000 toward the site by having 2 separate subscriptions. At the time, Josh had been married for 7 years and had 4 children. His wife, Anna Renee Duggar, was still sticking by his side, even though the molestation allegations and now the affair. So the interesting part was that Michelle, Josh's mom, blamed Anna for Josh cheating. She said on her blog, "So when you are exhausted at the end of the day, maybe from dealing with little ones, and you fall into bed so exhausted at night, don't forget about him, because you and he are the only ones who can have that time together. No one else in the world can meet that need." And then Anna even blamed herself for this affair. She blames herself for not noticing that he was dealing with a lot of pressure and that she wasn't helping in some way. Unfortunately for Anna, divorce isn't necessarily even allowed to be discussed due to their religious views. And I just feel so sorry for Anna and the entire thing. So at this time, Josh was sent away to a rehabilitation center to help with his sex addiction. And I'm not sure what type of rehab center it was, or even if it was like accredited or whatever, but all I know is it didn't work. So Josh had come back and it seemingly was going well, and there was a lot of calm over the years, and it appeared that Anna and Josh had worked through their problems. However, the biggest trial was yet to come. In 2019, Homeland Security went and checked out Josh at his wholesale motor cars dealership. Then, in 2021, crap hit the fan, and it officially ruined Anna's life forever. Josh was obviously doing something super sketchy, enough to warrant the U.S. Attorney of Western District of Arkansas to suggest a federal investigation of Josh. On April 29, 2021, the U.S. Marshals arrested Duggar on federal charges of receiving and possessing child pornography. Prosecutors believed the images were transmitted in May 2019. The federal grand jury's indictment accused Duggar of knowingly receiving pornographic images of children who were under 12 years old. Josh was arrested and booked into the Washington County Jail. It was revealed that one file name found on his HP desktop computer was of a video of a 3-month-old being sexually abused. One folder contained 65 thumbnail files of an underage girl. Approximately over 200 images that were flagged as child sexual abuse material involved naked minors engaging in sexual activity. April 30th, 2021, he pled not guilty to all of the charges. He was released on bail as long as he didn't have any contact with children under the age of 11. Now, this was very difficult because his wife was pregnant with their 7th child. Jim Bob had asked a family friend if Josh could live with them, and they agreed. If he wanted to see his children, then Anna had to be in the presence of him the entire time. I just can't imagine what Anna was feeling like this whole time. She was realizing that she was going to be a single mother, and that must just be horrific. On May 25th, 2022, Josh was sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in prison. His earliest possible release is October 2nd, 2032. This will be followed by 20 years of supervised release, during which he must register as a sex offender and can have no unsupervised contact with minors, and this includes his own children. He can only access the internet with the permission of his probation officer and must agree to monitoring of all online activity. He was fined $10,000 in order to pay an additional $40,100 in special assessment. After Josh was convicted, many people came and encouraged Anna to get a divorce, and there was literally no shame in getting a divorce. But as of right now, they're still legally married. This whole story is just terrible. And it makes me wonder if he would have gotten the help when he was younger and it wouldn't have just been brushed under the rug, if his life would have been different. He clearly had an issue. He clearly had some problems, and his parents just didn't really handle it the way that they should have. And those poor girls who never received proper counseling, who are now having to deal with that abuse as adults, must just be horrible. Thanks for watching. The Crime Happens Here. Stay safe and be kind.